Welcome back to another episode of What Are You Made Of with your boy, the unstoppable Mike C-Roc. I'm in the house today with Rob Rawson. He's a qualified medical doctor who also has significant success with online businesses. He founded The Time Doctor, which is an 8-figure software business with 130 full-time staff and also running a conference about remote work. Wow, that's timely for what was going on over the last few years. Rob, welcome to the show, man.
I'm excited to be here.
Well, should I call you Doc or Doctor?
Yeah, you can call me Doc. Yeah, Doc Rob,
Okay.
whatever you like.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I want to give you respect for your earning your degrees and going through all you had to do to become a doctor. So let's talk about the first thing we always talk about today on the show. Rob, what are you made of?
I'm made of grit, determination, and love. Like behind it all is love and that connection that I'm creating.
Now, I love that. And that's a lot of things that you needed as you just went through the pandemic, especially over down under. Things were a little different there than they were in the United States. And I'd love to touch on that a little bit. But what kind of medicine did you practice, or do you practice?
I actually practiced for a few years. It was just in hospitals, and it was like a really interesting experience. But I was always entrepreneurial, even during medicine. So I was starting lots of businesses and different ideas. And so I kind of got diverted in that business theme. And so now I'm really just in business, but I do want to actually have a medical business. I'm excited about medical areas,
Yeah.
but at the moment it's just a software business. So I'm not really in medicine at all now.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Do you think it has something to do with wanting variety on a daily basis instead of the same thing every day, even though you had
Yeah.
different patients? But do you feel that?
Yeah, that's part of it. And part of it, actually, I did want to work around the world. Like I wanted to travel and work, and that's a little harder with it being in medicine, but also controlling your own destiny and just being able to work and create your own business. I really love that concept of creating your own thing.
Were you conflicted after going through medical school and receiving your doctorate, your PhD? No, it's a doctorate, right? You're
Yeah, yeah,
MD, your
just
MD.
medical D,
What
MD.
what did you
Yeah.
have a conflict like after you went through all that to be like, oh man, I don't really want to do this anymore? Like, how did that go down?
It wasn't that I just didn't want to do it. It was more that I was really determined to succeed in business. And I'd had that desire for quite a long time. And so that really led in different directions. And it led to, like, it was hard to imagine what the medical business would be. So it didn't end up being medical at all. It ended up being more like internet businesses. So it wasn't really, I know a lot of doctors actually complain about medicine, but I think it's a great profession. There's nothing, it's amazing. It's amazing, but you really got to devote your life to it. You can't be like half a doctor,
Yeah,
half the
yeah.
time, because you're not really fully putting your full energy. And so you're not serving your patients the best you can.
If you changed your mind, what would you have to do to go back to being able to practice?
I have to go pretty much to the beginning because of the length of time that I've been away. So
Gotcha.
it's be pretty hard.
Okay. Okay. And I'm sure you maintain some of that knowledge in case you run into a situation you need. But so
Yeah,
so then how did you get into tech and software? What's the story behind that?
it was something I was just exploring. I was researching all of this stuff online, and then I ended up doing some affiliate business. So I was in my parents' house at the time, and I was doing various affiliate businesses, SEO. And my friend came over, and because I was getting checks, right? And in Australia, you get these checks from the US, and they're quite hard to deposit because they're like US dollar check, and like, how do I deposit this in in Australia? And I had this thick pile of checks, and he's looking at it. It's like, oh, $1,000, like $500, oh, $5,000. Like, what is this? So, so he was like really shocked that I was doing this. I was a medical doctor, but I was also living in my parents' house in my bedroom, and he was just like really shocked that I was doing this. And so that's how it kind of started.
And what was the key to being a good affiliate marketer? What was that like? Was it good knowing Google SEO, or what was your keys to success with that?
I felt like it was. easier at that time, and I just didn't need to. I don't know that it felt that hard. I was always trying to get someone else to do the actual work. Like I was actually outsourcing things. I was getting university students to do websites. Like I did a satellite TV site, and it's quite funny because I had no idea what satellite TV was, because in Australia we don't have satellite TV.
Right.
We just have like the normal. At that time, I don't think we even had cable TV. We just had like normal free to air TV.
Yeah.
But I was advertising, and I had this website all about satellite TV, and this is the great Dish Network and Direct TV, and this is all about it. And I got someone to write that site. I got someone to put it up. I didn't know how to create websites, but I literally read online how to do this, and then I did it, and it made money. Like I was making like 100 grand a year, just this one website. So I don't know that it's that easy now, but I
Right.
think that just the idea of just going, well, let's just try it, and let's try lots of things, because I would have tried probably 20 other things that didn't work like that. And then just really that determination to just keep going and trying lots of different things, and eventually one thing was working.
And how did you pick your products? Did you, it was just trial and error, or did you pick them by thinking like, well,
High commissions, high affiliate commissions. Yeah, at the time, something that had really good commissions, and it seemed like it was a fairly popular product.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And then when did it all come to an end? Kind of, when did you start seeing it tail
It's
off?
it's not a great business strategy, right? Because you're not creating any long-term value. You're not creating a brand. You're just trying to hack into Google, like by getting people to come to your site, and then after they come to your site, they click on a link. So you're not adding a whole lot of value in the world, and because of that, and you're not creating a long-term brand, you're not doing any of that. So that's why it sort of started to go down in that competition, and I guess I wasn't doing it to the degree that I'd need to. Like the level of information in that site wasn't good enough for Google. So like there are other sites that were better, that had better information. So because I was probably one of the first, maybe I was successful in the beginning. I did a few things right, but I didn't do enough right to make it sustainable and long term, to make an actual publishing site where it could be like the best site on this topic.
Gotcha. And then when you started thinking about like, look, I need to build an asset, right? And then create some kind of
Yeah.
evaluation. What was that like? And what was your first venture into doing something like that to create something that had some value?
That was really actually my current business, Time Doctor, that I had a team in the Philippines at that time. So I ended up going to the Philippines, founded this amazing talent over there. And I had like a whole team of 40 people doing this SEO and affiliate stuff. But then I had them in an office, and the office was like hugely expensive, and I wasn't doing as well. I thought, I don't want to go to the Philippines anymore. I'm sick of the Philippines. It's hot, and I just want to travel to other places. So I ended up shutting down the office. But then I created the software for myself to kind of have that some accountability, tracking time, attendance, and to understand what's going on in the team. So that's how I created it for myself initially, and then I thought, well, I could create a product out of that. So I did try various other products over the years, but this was the one that has really hit, and has been the one that's successful over a long period.
So tell us about the Time Doctor. Give us an overview, and then I have some questions about building a software company and what you went through.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was that initial need of having a team that was offshore and that you weren't with them. And so similar to people that were hiring on Upwork, but you weren't necessarily looking to go directly with Upwork. Sometimes Upwork costs up to 20% of the fees of the people that you've got on there. So I was looking at how to do that, and so that's how I created it, and then it built out from there and to larger and larger teams. So now we've got enterprises on there that have similar needs as well, and then we had to build up the capability in my team over the years. So we went also very, very global. So it's something that's really interesting is that I realized, well, if I'm going to hire in the Philippines, in this one city, well, maybe I could hire in any city, but then maybe I could just hire in any country in Asia or any country in the world. And then I found these different levels of talent in different countries. So looking for people that are great at sales, or people that are great at management, and that could be in, I have most of my management teams in the US, Australia, and that's just because there's more experience there than more people that have the right skills to do that. I've been building that capacity over the years, and I find that exciting as well.
And so when you started building Time Doctor, you had an idea. And what did you do? Did you look out for a software development company to help you, or how did that go down?
Yeah, it was really hard in the beginning. I just had no idea. I was going through all of these websites because I was not a developer. I was going through all of these websites. I was trying multiple times, right? So I tried the first time. I think it was, again, something on Upwork that was some person in Palestine, I think it was, and they had no idea and didn't succeed. And then I got another team that was in India and they didn't succeed. So about the third or fourth try, I found someone who was actually able to do it and had the skills, and they were able to create the first version of it, which seemed to work. And then I just hired my team from there. Like I hired other people, and I also built up a really good SEO base of information online, and created a community of people that were interested in remote work and looking for this kind of tool. So it sort of built and then created momentum from there, and then people referring other people. So that's how it all built up.
Yeah. So how much money did it take for you to really start before you found the third company? Like, how much money do you think?
Yeah.
I don't want to say wasted, because it was obviously an investment. You had to do what you had to do to get to where you were. But
Yeah.
how much money at that time do you think, roughly? It doesn't have to be exact, but like.
Yeah, well, I think a software business does take money if you're not a developer. If you're a developer, you can build it yourself, right? Obviously. But if you're not a developer, and nowadays, I think you need a minimum, if you're being really frugal, of probably $1 million. And that's basically what I spent, was about $1 million in total. Sounds like a lot. A lot of it was wasted, to be honest, because
Mhm.
you end up doing stuff that you probably shouldn't have done. But that, how do you know that it's going to be wasted? Like, it's hard for you to have that foresight.
Yeah, you have a dream, you had a vision, and you were committed to it, and it's like you got to
Yeah,
figure it out. And then you get to a point
yeah,
too where you go and you're pot committed, so to speak. If you play poker, there's a term called pot committed. You got so much in the
right.
pot that you just don't, you can't back out now, right? So
Yeah.
the reason I asked that, we're working on a project right now, called Project 10K, which is building, scaling, and selling 10,000 tech companies in 10 years. And the
Hmm.
reason this was formed in the first place is because my partner had this vision after he went through a tech development software nightmare, where he
Yeah,
spent 700 some $1,000 or more, million maybe,
yeah,
and had to scrap it and start over again. And he just
yeah,
didn't feel
yeah,
safe. And he wanted to create a situation where people have tech ideas and they could
yeah,
come to somebody that had infrastructure that was trusted. They would co-found together once the idea is validated, and that way their
yeah,
mission, their vision, and their mission were aligned, and they can move
yeah.
forward together. So no, that's why I asked that question. So then, right when you mentioned this already, the go-to-market strategy. So when you had it going on and you had the idea and you had your first product, MVP, whatever you want to call it, then you took it there and you just started creating communities. Is that basically the go-to-market strategy that you went through?
Yeah, SEO, where we had a lot of content online, and we gave it away for free in the beginning, actually, and then we converted it to a paid product. It was a good timing, I think, was part of it, but then we were constantly thinking of what else we can do. Whether it's like paid marketing didn't work very well for us, so it was really more referrals and SEO that was the strategy that got us there.
And when did you launch?
A while ago, like 2012 was the paid launch.
Gotcha.
First, yeah.
Gotcha. 2012. And then how long did it take you to
Yeah.
really get traction?
We had some traction the first year, but to actually make profits, that took, it was only until about 2 to 3 years ago that we started to make good profits. So the company is on a different level. And that's being frugal, right? The whole
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
We've had the most efficient team that we can. Now we're a little bit less frugal because we got more money, and we really ballooned during the pandemic. We went up a lot, and so we had more availability of capital to try and hire great talent. But yeah, it was being super efficient was part of it.
So, and then
Um,
did you raise capital?
no, no, we never did. So the
Never
$1 million
did.
that I'm talking about, quite a bit of it, which was probably wasted. So maybe we'll talk like $500,000 was actual development money. A lot of that was spent on the development, as well as, in the beginning, I had no salary. My
Yep.
partner, who's in Canada, he had no salary for 2-3 years. So that $1 million doesn't include that. But yeah, let's say $500,000 development, $500,000 wasted on various things that we probably shouldn't have done. And then if you want to add to that my salary and my co-founder's salary, then it would be more than that. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do think it depends on the type of business you're building, right? If you're doing a services business or an agency, you really shouldn't require any money. You should be able to just like sell as your first step. And then after you've sold something, then you get the resources you need to actually deliver on it. Software is different. I think software is the most expensive thing to start, especially in today's environment. But other businesses shouldn't need as much money. It depends on your business.
Yeah. And so that long period of time, as you were going through this, you mentioned what you were made of, and I can see why you said that now. But part of it is like, did you have any periods of time where you're like, this is just not going to gain traction? It's just not going to work. And then you have to talk yourself out of that and get back on track again.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, I mean, the most scary periods is when the website goes down, and then I'm not technical, and then I'm relying on people across the world, in some cases that I never even met. So these people that I just hadn't met in person, and then I'm relying on them to build a product for me and to get the server back up running, and then I'm freaking out because the whole thing is, because customers not going to stay with you very long if your service doesn't work. So yeah, that's scary.
Yeah. Yeah. And so to go that long and really have like confidence that you're going to continue on until this clicks, right? Like you have how many companies? I think I saw on the website, like how many companies using this now? How many people? 140,000?
Over 9,000.
9,000.
About
What's joined over
9,000
140?
customers.
What's the 140,000 Time Doctor users? Is that from everybody, including
There's
employees?
more than 200,000 actually, employees that are using, like individual
Wow.
people that are actually using it.
Wow, man, that's
Yeah.
phenomenal. And did you think it was going to take as long as it did to really get to where you are today? Or did you have like, do you think you could do it faster and then you realize shit, this takes a little longer?
I'm not sure I was thinking about the length of time, but definitely I had goals that seemed like really crazy at the time. Like, I mean, being a 10-figure SaaS business and being profitable, and it was sort of out of reach. Like we had a goal to have 200,000 paid users of the app, which we have achieved. And a few years ago, like even 5 years ago, that seemed like, wow, how are we going to do that? That's
Yeah.
crazy. Like our goal right now is 1 million paid users of the app, and that also is, geez,
Yeah,
that's
but that's
hard. We're at 200,000.
5x.
Yeah, 5x. Yeah, but it's not that easy to 5x.
No,
But yeah,
yeah, but it's not easy that, but I think that's going to be easier than the first 200,000.
I'd say you're probably right. Yeah,
Let's go, man. Let's go. Hey, you got this.
yeah.
So I can tell you, like, because I have two tech startups right now. One launched already. I sold just over 100,000 in revenue in the first 2 weeks prior to it being developed all the way. I
Right.
went out and pre-sold it. And so I
Yeah.
wanted, because I'm a sales guy and I'm business. Like I couldn't just sit there and wait for development. So I'm out there doing phone calls, generating
Yeah.
revenue. And then now we're in a situation, I have a goal of 15 million users. 15 million users is crazy, right? Like to think that,
Wow.
but for what we're doing, it makes sense. And I
Yeah.
have no clue how the hell we're going to get there. I have no clue like how long it's going to take. Like just like you're saying, and I think that the audience to hear this, I think it's important for them to hear this from us, is that we just do we go every day, we have a plan, and correct me if I'm wrong, and you just do the best you can every single day and let
Yeah.
there be a compounding effect. Am I right?
Yeah. And one of the things that I have done is I just think at the beginning of the day, I've got this list of what are the top 5 things I'm going to do. And some of those are going to be what's going to drive revenue, what's going to make growth. Like if it's just doing my tax return, no, forget about it. Just put it on like I can do that some other time. I've got it today. I got to do something that drives revenue.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Now, do you have any interest in another tech company? Have you gotten involved with any other development of another company or?
I started a bunch of things that didn't quite make it. Like I started a competitor to WhatsApp, which is a crazy ambitious idea. It's still, I think, a reasonable idea. The idea that I had, but it was too ambitious. Not necessarily too ambitious, but I think you need to have quite a bit of funding to do that, and you need to approach it a lot more aggressively than I did.
Yeah, or an audience to present it to that's a big audience that you already have somewhere, right? So that yeah, I get it. And then how about the future? Are you still thinking about doing other companies?
I'm really interested in lots of stuff. Like I'm interested in life extension. It's kind of health and wellness. Lots of things around that. I'm also just continuing with my business. I like to go to new levels. Like trying to get the management team in a place where I don't even necessarily need to be there. Because I've got such a great management team. So lots of challenges. As long as I'm not doing the same thing every day, I do get bored if I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah. What about exit?
I mean, I could look at it. It's not the greatest environment right now, but it's not on the immediate horizons.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, look, I want to thank you, Rob, for being here. Where people can find Time Doctor is timedoctor.com. Timedoctor.com. Go check it out. It's a really cool platform, and I'm sure some of you listeners can definitely benefit from it if you haven't already used it. But and then also go check out Rob Rawson. Rob, where's the best place for them to check you out? Are you?
I just let them know also about my book that we're coming out with on running remote. It's like a book that is all about remote work and how to be effective in a remote work team. So it's called Running Remote, and you can see that on Amazon.
Yeah, is it out now?
Yeah, it's out in August 2022.
Okay, coming out. So by the time this episode comes out, probably the book will be out. So go get the book, Running Remote. That's definitely something that we need to pay attention to, guys, because after the pandemic, a lot of people aren't going back to the office. And so businesses have to figure this out going forward full time. I've already figured it out. We were already kind of remote before the pandemic. So we figured out how to build culture and all that, but I'm interested in reading this book and picking up some more things because I'm a lifetime learner, Rob. So, but I want to thank you for being here, man. Appreciate your time. And, if there's anything I can ever do for you, definitely let's work on this relationship because we're running in some similar categories here. And I just want to make sure that I can be of assistance to you any way possible. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for coming on. Thank you all for listening to the What Are You Made Of podcast. If you like this, give us a rating. Go subscribe to your favorite podcast platform. And if you like to watch these and you want to look at our handsome faces, YouTube, Mike C-Roc, go check it out. And you can watch this podcast live. And just look, guys, just keep going, keep supporting us. We really appreciate everything you do. And until next time, be unstoppable.